Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, students of class 10th. I hope that you are well. Today we are going to do unit number 4, and it is a very important chapter. Why? Because you get question answers from this chapter, you can get MCQs from this chapter, and you can also get the grammar portion from this chapter as well, because we have a lot of grammar portion over here, just like gerunds, we have infinitives, we have adverbs and adverb phrases as well. So let's start our lesson. The lesson is about first aid. Aid means help, and first means the initial help that you give to somebody when he is injured or he is unwell. Okay, so here we are with the first paragraph, and here it is written that we all need help at times of our lives. So we sometimes we may have an accident, or we may get hurt. When we are injured or suddenly become unwell, we need someone to help us. So the first and the foremost important thing is that we need someone to help us. At such a time, you are not in such a condition that you can help yourself, so definitely you need someone else. Okay, and someone who knows what to do. It is a temporary and immediate help. This timely assistance comprising simple medical techniques is most critical to the victims and is often life-saving. So this is a timely assistance. Now this question over here, okay, what is the importance of knowledge of first aid in a crisis management? Okay, crisis management means when there is a certain emergency, so how you supposed to manage that crisis. So in crisis management, the most important answer over here is that it is a timely assistance. Now this is they have written this timely assistance, but you're going to write it is a timely assistance. And timely assistance means what? Means you are providing a certain help on time, comprising simple medical techniques. And what does it have? It has simple medical techniques, and it is the most critical to the victim and is often life-saving, because these timely assistance that comprises of simple medical techniques are often life-saving. And life-saving means you are saving the life of certain person. For example, a person is getting a heart attack. Now if you know the techniques how to cure him, or heal him, definitely if you use those techniques, you can save that person's life. Okay, now here we are. Any person can be trained to administer first aid, and this first aid can be carried out using minimal equipment. First aid knowledge ranges from taking care of cuts to deal with unconscious person. So a certain minute cuts, you can deal with that as well. And a person who is unconscious, you can with these techniques, you can bring him into consciousness. Unconscious का मतलब होता है बेहोश होना. Now consciousness मतलब है कि आप उसको होश में लेके आते हैं. Okay. The first one we have over here is the cuts and the scraps. Handling minor accidents at home or on the road develops a sense of crisis management. Now basically they are telling you how if you get a cuts or minor cuts or bruises, how are you supposed to handle it at home. Because for such an, if you get hurt at home, if with a knife, if you have get a small cuts, you don't just go to the hospital, you just try to manage it at home. So there are certain things that they are telling us, and they are telling us how you can manage this at home. So the first one is that we have is stopping the bleeding. Now over here we have stopping the bleeding is the first point. And how do you're supposed to stop the bleeding? That you're supposed to apply gentle pressure. Now gentle pressure means कि you are gonna press it, उसको press करना है with a clean cloth or a bandage. If you get bleeding through cuts, what are you supposed to do? You are gonna put a clean cloth over it, and then you are gonna press that area with a gentle pressure. And why? And then the next important thing is that you're gonna hold it for 20 to 30 seconds. During this time period, what is gonna happen? The skin tries to recover, or basically it tries to make a clot. The blood becomes clot over there. It becomes clotting का मतलब होता है कि वो जम जाता है. उस तरीके से जो bleeding होती है, जब blood thick हो जाता है, वो जगह पे जम जाए, तो वो bleeding को आगे पीछे से जो blood आ रहा होता है उसको stop कर देता है. So in the same way, it stops the blood. So it's very important. Now most important thing over here is that you don't keep checking to see. This is a very important point. Okay, you're not supposed to just take the cloth, just put the cloth and pressing it gently and then picking it up and then pressing it. इससे क्या होगा कि आपका जो blood है वो clot वो जमेगा नहीं, it is not gonna stop. So basically you are gonna wait for 20 to 30 seconds first, and after that you can check whether the blood has stopped or not. ठीक है. So because if you keep on checking, what is going to happen, it will dislodge the clot जो कि बन रहा होता है वो आप उसको डैमेज करेंगे और वो दोबारा से it will start bleeding. The bleeding to resume का मतलब है कि दोबारा से bleeding start हो जाएगी. If blood spurts or continues flowing after continuous pressure, seek medical assistance. Now this point is also important because when they are saying if the blood that you are basically it is flowing continuously and it doesn't stop while applying pressure, then you should seek medical assistance. And why is this important? Because some of the people, just like diabetic people, their blood don't stop. ठीक है, जो डायबिटिक होते हैं, जिनको शुगर पेशेंट्स जिनको कहा जाता है, उनका ब्लड जो होता है वो रुकता नहीं है. इफ़ दे ब्लीड, दे स्टार्ट ब्लीडिंग एंड यू कांट स्टॉप दैट ब्लड फ्रॉम द. सो सच पेशेंट्स जो होते हैं वो बहुत सेंसिटिव होते हैं. सो फॉर दोज पेशेंट्स यू आर सपोज टू सीक मेडिकल असिस्टेंस. यू शुड टेक देम टू द हॉस्पिटल बिकॉज यू कांट अटेंड देम एट होम, बिकॉज उनका जो ब्लड है इस तरीके से अगर अप्लाई नहीं वो सही नहीं हो रहा. इट मीन्स कि दे डेफिनेटली नीड मेडिकल असिस्टेंस इन द हॉस्पिटल. ओके. Now the next point that we have is that clean the wound, rinse out the wound with clean. Rinse means कि you should clean it with water. Rinse का मतलब है कि पानी से साफ करना है. ठीक है. To clean the area around the wound, you have to clean the area around the wound. Wound का मतलब होता है ज़ख़म. इसके इर्द गिर्द वाला एरिया आपने उसको साफ़ करना है with water. Use soap and a washcloth. Both soap can but soap can irritate the wound, so try to keep it out of the actual wound. Actual wound से आपने actual ज़ख़म से आपने सोप को ज़रा साइड पे रखना है क्योंकि ये इस ज़ख़म को इरिटेट कर सकता है. ठीक है. If dirt or debris. Now what is the meaning of debris? Debris also means कि dirt particles remain on the wound after washing. Use a tweezer cleaning with an alcohol to remove these particles. तो आप tweezer का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं अगर आपको नज़र आ रहा है कि उसमें certain particles हैं dirt के. अक्सर छोटे छोटे से तिनके आपको नज़र आ रहे होंगे. You can easily clean it. So and clean it with alcohol and to remove the particles. ठीक है. If debris still remains, see your doctor. Thorough cleaning reduces the risk of infection. Now this point is also important कि thorough cleaning. Thorough cleaning का क्या मतलब होता है कि मुकम्मल cleaning is important. Why? Because it reduces the risk of infection and tetanus. Now tetanus के बारे में तो most of you know, because tetanus is a sort of if a child falls on a road, basically he is given the tetanus injection, because if this you get this germ, it is very dangerous. So when a child falls on the road and a certain body part starts bleeding, then that person should be, or that child should be given tetanus injection to avoid that certain germ that is very dangerous. Okay. Now here we are with the next point, and that is applying antibiotic. After you clean the wound, apply a thin layer of antibiotic cream or ointment. Ointment is again the same sort of a cream that is used on the surface to make it moist. The products don't make the wound heal faster. इसका मतलब कि ये जो product आप use कर रहे हैं ये अब इसको सही नहीं करता, मतलब तेज़ी से सही नहीं करता, but they can help your body natural healing process work fast. Basically the body's natural process जो होता है ना हीलिंग का, वो काम कर रहा होता है, लेकिन ये इसमें थोड़ा सा हेल्प करते हैं. सर्टेन इंग्रेडिएंट्स इन सम ऑइंटमेंट कैन कॉज अ माइल्ड रैश. नाउ माइल्ड रैश मीन्स कि हल्की सी रैश भी आपको हो सकती है उससे. इन सम पीपल इफ़ द रैश अपीयर्स स्टॉप यूजिंग द ऑइंटमेंट. अगर आपको किसी चीज़ से एलर्जी है, सर्टन मेडिसिन होते हैं जिनसे लोगों को एलर्जी होती है, सो वो वाले मेडिसिन नहीं यूज़ करते. तो इन द सेम वे अगर सर्टन क्रीम ऑइंटमेंट है जो कि आप यूज़ कर रहे हो और वहाँ से आपको रैश वगैरह अपेयर हो रहा है, तो इट मीन्स कि योर स्किन इज़ नॉट एक्सेप्टिंग दैट. तो आपको उसको चेंज करना है. ठीक है. यू हैव सपोज टू चेंज, डोंट अप्लाई दैट ऑइंटमेंट एंड ट्राई टू यूज सम अदर वेज. ओके. Now we have covered the wound. After cleaning it properly, applying the antibiotic, then the next step is that you are supposed to cover the wound so that it doesn't get any more of the dirt particles and all that. So, and it in order to keep it safe from bacteria. So bandages can help keep the wound clean and keep harmful bacteria out. After the wound has healed enough to make infection unlikely, expose it to the air will speed up the wound healing. अच्छा, थोड़ा सा वो क्योर हो जाए तो उसके बाद आपने इसको एक्सपोजर देना है वूंड को, किसको, ज़ख़म को. और इसकी बहुत बड़ी एग्जांपल ये है कि मेरी बेटी के शी हैड अ वुंड ऑन हर हैंड एंड वो काफ़ी ख़राब हो गया था. एंड व्हाट वी डिड के वी यूज़ पायोडीन एंड ऑल दैट एंड बैंडेज एंड, लेकिन मैंने गलती ये की कि आई डिडंट एक्सपोज दैट वुंड आफ्टर सम टाइम, और उसको मुसलसल बैंडेज में रखने की वजह से उसका वो ज़ख़म मज़ीद ख़राब हो गया इंस्टेड ऑफ हीलिंग. सो इट मीन्स कि अगर आप वुंड को मुसलसल बैंडेज रखेंगे तो देन अगेन it can cause it may not heal it, or else it can cause it can damage the skin. So बेहतर ये है कि after a little bit of time when the wound has healed, जब वो थोड़ा सा ज़ख़म ठीक हो जाता है तो उसके बाद आप उसको हवा से नॉर्मल एक्सपोजर दें, बैंडेज हटा दें ताकि वो प्रॉपरली हील हो जाए. ठीक है. Now the next is change the dressing. Now dressing over here doesn't mean that you're changing your clothes. Dressing over here means that you're changing the bandages. So dressing यहाँ पे क्या है कि आपने ज़ख़म को किस तरीके से उसकी dressing करनी है. Now this point is very important because mostly it comes in the paper. पेपर में ये ड्रेसिंग वाला पॉइंट एक दफ़ा आया भी हुआ है. So that's why आपको पता होना चाहिए. Okay, change the dressing at least daily. Now this is an important point. How much? At least daily, or whenever it becomes wet or dry, dirty. ये दो points हैं. If you are allergic to adhesive tape, adhesive tape means sticky tapes, adhesive. Use in most bandages. कुछ bandages है कि जिसमें stickiness होती है, जिससे वो stick होता है. तो switch to adhesive free dressing. तो आप simple bandages भी use कर सकते हैं. और sterilized gauzes held in place with paper tapes, gauze rolls or loose applied elastic bands. These supplies generally are available at pharmacy. Simple पट्टी को कहा जाता है ये जो gauze है. ठीक है. Watch for signs of infection. See your doctor if the wound is not healing or you notice any redness increasing. ये important, ये again this is an important point. Increasing pain, drainage, warmth और swelling. अगर आपको wound के अंदर कोई swelling, redness नज़र आ रही है, pain हो रहा है, तो it means कि आपने proper उसका cure नहीं किया, and then you should seek a doctor. Now the next point that we have कि what do we have in our first aid kit. Now let's see what we have in a first aid kit. First of all, you this is also an important point when के आपको first aid kit के अंदर ये question भी आता है. So आपने इसमें लिखना है कि first of all you're going to start with what? You're going to start over here that every office, factory, home and school should have an accessible first aid box with the following recommended basics. So the first basic thing is your first aid book, that it tells you about clearly how to handle a certain problem. ठीक है. This is the first thing. Now we have gauzes and adhesive. Gauze pads or rolls are cloth pads that are placed directly on the wound to protect and control bleeding. So these are basically pads, and they are made of very thin cloth, and these are roll that you use to control bleeding. For large cuts and scrapes you will need adhesive tape to keep the gauzes in place. Now then adhesive means the sticky tapes that you're supposed to need in order to apply the gauze, and उसके बाद जब आप उसके ऊपर tape लगाते हैं तो it becomes fixed and it doesn't change its position. In an emergency, a clean cloth, hand towel, clean t-shirt can be used to cover the wound. If you don't have that gauzes, so you can use a clean cloth or a hand towel instead of it. Okay. Then we have antiseptic wipes and alcohol swabs and cotton wools. Now everybody is familiar with these things. Now comes the safety pins and tweezers, scissors. These are the things that are quite common and everybody has it, and it is used should be in the first aid box. Now we have latex gloves and are always a good idea, especially if you are dealing with body fluids from a stranger. Now body fluids का मतलब क्या होता है? It means कि something if they body fluids में एक तो blood होता आता है कि blood निकल रहा है, लेकिन apart from that you can also there are certain other sorts of fluids जैसे कि पस निकल रही है किसी से, तो इसके लिए important ये है, it's good that you have gloves, and when you wear the gloves you are protecting yourself from the germs because आपको भी वो germs लग सकते हैं. So in the same way you should protect yourself with these. ठीक है. Then we have a calamine lotion. Calamine lotion is used for soothing sunburns or stings. के आपको अगर आपके बाजू में या हाथ पे कोई जगह जल गई है या स्टिंग आपको किसी भेड़ ने काटा है, तो you can easily use calamine lotion for that. Then you have a clinical thermometer, and then you have again the next step is that you have analgesic tablets such as aspirin and paracetamol. These are common medication that which reduces pain, so these are also important. Then comes the theme of this lesson. Now the theme is, first it means responding to an emergency situation, accident happen accidents happens always unexpectedly, but a life can be saved by having a basic knowledge of what to do in emergency and knowing proper first aid procedure. Basic trainings in first aid skills should be taught in schools, at workplaces, and in general be learned by all, as it is a mandatory. Now mandatory means something very important to our modern and stressful life. So here we go with the theme again. I told you before, the theme is also very important because it can come in your paper as well. Can write the theme of the first aid, so you are supposed to learn it. Please learn it बेटा. जिस चीज़ को कहा करती हूँ कि इसको लर्न किया करें, उसको प्लीज़ किया करें, because अगर आप अभी नहीं करोगे तो बाद में you're gonna get in a lot of trouble. Okay बच्चे, this page is a bit blur, लेकिन it's all right. Basically it's page number 42, and all of you have the books, so you know okay what is written over here. Basically this is the glossary. Why am I pointing to the glossary? Because you can get these words in your correction of spellings or synonym words, antonyms, so for that reason you should know the meanings of all these words. ठीक है? So that's why I'm pointing out towards it. The next thing that we have is that you are gonna use a prefix before these words and find out what are these words. So basically if you look closely, these are something very important and very simple, like they have given you the meaning, and you're gonna use this and you're gonna think of the word. So to put out of place means what do you think it means? It means to dislocate. ठीक है? So we have DISLO, locate, the first word. Then we have the next one, and that I know that everybody will know, that is to be unhappy. So automatically it means dissatisfied. What does it mean? Dissatisfied. Then to divert means if you are diverting something. So what does it mean over here? It means that you are distracting. So distract is the right word. Okay. The next one is to exclude. To exclude, so definitely it means to disqualify. Exclude means disqualify. Okay. Then we have to doubt. Now if you are doubting somebody, obviously it means what? It means that you are disbelieving it. So it disbelieve. Okay. Then we have to reject. If you are rejecting somebody, so what are you going to use? The word will be disapprove. APPROVE. Okay, so here we have disapprove. Now we have use the above words in sentences. Okay, leave that, we don't need that. But over here I just want to point out to one more thing. This is an example of an idiom over here. To owe is वो कर्ज बुरी बला है. So कर्ज बुरी बला है का जो English translation है, that has been in an idiom, and that is to owe is वो. ठीक है? तो ये आपको वैसे इसका नॉलेज होना चाहिए. You can get it somewhere in the paper. अभी तक आया तो नहीं है, लेकिन you never know. So for that you must be prepared. Now we have to choose the correct answers, and it is quite easy, but still we are going to do it. If blood spreads and continues flowing after continuous pressure, what should you do? Now आपके ख्याल में क्या करना चाहिए आपको? हाँ, you should seek medical assistance. So the last one is the right answer. ठीक है. Then we have the next one, multiple choice questions over here, and that is, here we go, page number 44. Thorough cleaning reduces the risk of. Now this ये वाला जो है ना, ये आया हुआ है पहले भी पेपर में, मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. बेसिकली इट हैज़ कम इन द पेपर इन वन वे अनदर. इस तरीके से ये इसका निचला वाला भी है कि ये भी दिस थर्ड वन इट हैज़ आल्सो कम इन द पेपर प्रीवियस पेपर्स. सो इसलिए आपको कह रही हूँ कि दिस चैप्टर इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो हेयर वी आर विद द वन इज़ थोरो क्लीनिंग रिड्यूस द रिस्क ऑफ. सो व्हाट इज़ द राइट आंसर? इन्फेक्शन एंड टेटनस. एंड द नेक्स्ट वन इज़ इफ़ अ रैश अपीयर्स. नाउ रैश अपीयर्स, यहाँ पे ये जो सही वाला आंसर है दैट इज़ कि इफ़ अ रैश अपीयर्स stop using ointment. The next one is change the dressing at least. Now what is the right answer? I told you before, it was daily. Band-aid or sticky plasters are good for dressing small what do you think is the right answer? Small wounds. Okay, then we have the question answers on this chapter that you are going to do it, we are going to do it later. मैंने अभी आपको पिछले वाले के भी question answers नहीं दिए. I'm going to do it as a whole, and with this we are going to close this lesson of ours. Grammar का portion जो है that I'm going to give you in the other lesson. So here we are closing, and I hope that you have understood the chapter. Okay जी, Allah Hafiz.